What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're gonna go ahead and talk about how to incorporate outside high school courses into your academics. Our goal is to help you guys leverage these opportunities to give you guys the best shot in the college admissions process. I know we're all aiming for a lot of amazing schools out there, a lot of top schools. Some of us are applying to the Ivies as well. And one of the big core areas that's really, really important to get right is going to be your academics. So if we can get the academics sorted perfectly, that's going to help set us up for success. However, as we navigate through this process, we see a lot of families kind of say, hey, I can't do that. Hey, I can't do that for a lot of various reasons. So in today's session, we're going to break down the various tools that you guys can use to help not use that. Because one of the big things you'll hear me say and teach in this training is the idea of being resourceful, right? So a lot of things in the world will cause things to say no. Our goal is to help change it and make it into a yes or a can I, right? So quick little story time and then we'll get started. Back, you guys know, in 2020, school shut down. Everything shut down in the year 2020. And so what did most people do, right? Most people said, oh, well, I can't do anything. Can't do clubs, can't do classes, can't do anything because what? School is closed. What do you expect me to do, Coach Tony? My school is closed. I can't do anything. That is what the majority of the world, again, the majority, the average person will do, the average student will do. But one of the big things is if you are aiming to go to a top 100 college, you know how many colleges there are? There are thousands. For you to go aim for a top 100, you're not gonna be aiming for like the majority. You are part of the minority that are aiming for the tippy top. If you're aiming for an Ivy, you are a fraction of a percent. And if you get accepted there, you are a fraction of a percent as well too. So the big thing about students who end up at these top schools, not only are they really good, they're really resourceful. They don't take no for an answer. They figure out how to make it work. And this training, we're going to go ahead and break it down. If it's our very first call together, my name is Coach Tony. I was a former UC Berkeley admissions reader, so I actually helped read applications on the back end, recommending yes and no to students. Since then, I actually worked at a test prep company, became their head of high school, helping students with the ST, AC, all the tests you can think of. I became a director at UCLA after that, helping students get into UCLA and other top colleges too. After that, I opened my own high school, started a school to help students and using one of the tricks that I'll teach you guys today in this training. And then I became TikTok's first college admissions partner, helping them out, help promote college admissions to the masses there. So throughout this last 16 years I've done this, our students have ended up literally everywhere. Every single year, we send our kids to the Ivies, you name them, we've had kids there. We send our kids to the top 20, top 50 colleges, the MITs of the world, the Caltechs, all these different schools, the Stanfords, right? We send our kids to all the top state schools as well too. UT Austin, University of UW, University of Washington, a lot of UC schools, UCLA, UC Berkeley. Our kids literally go everywhere. And how they just kind of know what is important. They know what colleges are looking for, and you just give them that. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can get started with today's training. Those of you here live, right? Those of you watching live, I'm sharing my screen. You guys want you guys want the link to the chat? If you guys want the link to chat, let me know. I'll give you guys a link to the chat if you guys are interested. You guys can follow along on your side as well too. If you guys are interested, drop a little yes in the chat. I'll go ahead and send it over. So let's talk about it, right? So when it comes to academics, let's first take a step back and talk a little theory, right? Talk a little theory here. So when it comes to the academics, when it comes to the admissions process, there's three factors that are really important. There is the academics, they're going to be the activities, and they're going to be the application itself. These are the three areas that are really, really important to get right in the admissions process itself. Today, we're going to be focusing on the academics component of these three. Just to kind of fill you guys in, right? Academics is actually the least important factor of the three. In fact, activities is more important than the academics, and the application is more important than the activities itself. So when it comes to the kind of game plan for the admissions process itself, academics is important, but there's other areas that are also more important. So keeping that in mind, okay? So let's bring it back. When it comes to the academics, you guys know what you guys need to do. There's classes you guys will be taking, right? In school, right? You guys are taking classes in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade as well too. In this here, you're taking all your classes. You're taking your math, your English, your science, your histories, right? Your histories, right? You're taking your language other than English, your Spanish, your French, your Latin, all these classes here. And some of your schools might require additional things. Some schools require electives. Some schools have pathways. Some schools have PE. So every school is set up a little differently when it comes to the requirements for the traditional application process itself. So on your schedule, you probably have a mix of these, right? And to even further add on to this, right? You're not just taking usually regular math, you're probably doing a more advanced level. So there's different rigored options, right? There's going to be the honor. Some schools have accelerated. Some schools have advanced. Some schools will be offered advanced placement, which is called AP. Some of you guys will have international baccalaureate or the IB program. So some of your schools will have different levels of each of these classes too. So instead of taking just like world history, some of you might be taking honors world history. Some of you might be taking AP world history. So they're all similar classes with different rigors for each one. Okay, so that is basic high school academics. Again, there's a lot of different things to keep in mind, right? You have to fulfill the high school requirements, plus whatever else you need for the schools, right? As well too, plus college academic requirements, right? Requirements, right? Typically, what we see, it's like 3+ years of math. There's like 4+ years of English, right? And they're like, how do you get more than 4 years? Some of you guys take like a community college class in between or additional class in between. Like for those of you guys that are interested in Cal Poly Slow, right, in California, it's a state school, but they actually require 5 years of math, which is wild, right? Some of you guys 2+ years of science. 2+ years of history. This is the world, the AP, the U.S. history, the government classes. 2+ years of language, right? And then whatever 1+ years of 1+ year of electives and all the extra things that you guys do, right? So that's the tradition. That's normal. That's what you guys should be doing already doing on your schedule. That's not this training. This training is gonna dig a little deeper of additional courses, right? We're gonna talk about additional courses that we can take in addition to what we can do, right? So the first thing we're gonna talk about is outside AP courses that you can add on your schedule. So first off, why would you want to add additional AP courses, right? So taking a step back again, in theory, right? A lot of people, when it comes to the academic section, they always think about GPA. That's like the number one thing that everyone always thinks about is like, hey, what's your GPA? What's your GPA here? What if I told you I rarely, if any, look at any student's GPA because it doesn't matter, right? And for those of you guys who argue with me, I'm like, you can argue as much as you want, right? If GPA, and here's my counter for you, right? Here's my counter. If GPA was that important, right? Why do some 4.8 GPA students get rejected? Right, is a thing. Then why do some less than 4.0 students, right, get accepted, right? Because I can tell you, I know students who have over 4.8, so these crazy numbers, and they get rejected. I know students with less than 4.0 who still get accepted to these top colleges as well too. So GPA isn't that important. It's important to a certain level, right? But it's not that important. So the big thing about academics and understanding this, what is the true factors that makes the academics important for the college admission side? So when it comes to the academics, the two areas that are important is going to be the grade trends, and number two is the academic rigor of the courses. So the first part, when it comes to grade trends, we want to see what is the story of your grades over time. So over the series of 9, 10, 11, 12 grade, what story does your grades kind of tell me, right? Have you kept strong grades all 4 years? You have, again, strong grades is more A's than B's, right? B's are not bad. For those who are saying B's are bad, you can whatever you want to feel that. B's are fine. Just what you want to have just a lot more A's than B's is number one, right? To have a lot of strong grades here. And but the big thing, right? The big thing here, what if you didn't have a lot of strong grades? What if, again, the transition from middle school to high school is a little rough for you guys, right? Some students, again, had a certain middle school experience, had a different high school experience that when the time they get to high school, right? There's the rigor is a lot different. As a result of that, right? Maybe freshman year wasn't so hot. Maybe freshman year wasn't as strong as the other ones. So in that case, there was an upward trend, right? In your grades, right? It went up, literally upward trends over the year. So maybe freshman year was not the hottest, but over time it started getting better and better and better. That's the thing we want to look at. However, grade trend is still not the most important factor either. The most important factor in the academics is the rigor of your schedule. That is the most important part of the entire thing, is the rigor of your schedule itself is the most important. So what is the rigor? So how do we define rigor? Rigor is any AP equivalent level class, right? That's what shit. AP equivalent class. That's a part of the easiest definition because most people here know of what APs are, what APs do, right? So that's gonna be the big takeaway for you guys here. So our goal is, how do we achieve as many AP equivalent level classes that you can do? At your school, some people limit you, right? Some schools limit on how many APs you can take. Typically, right, I see a ninth, a 0 to 1, right? Maybe they'll get you to 1, but sometimes 0. In 10th grade, again, 1 to 2 maybe. Sometimes they give you 1. Sometimes let you do 2. When it comes to 11th grade, some schools do 3 to 5, let you take 3 classes or a little bit more. And 12th grade, same thing, they take you 3 to 5 as well, right? But some schools don't. There's some schools we know that in 9th grade, they say no. In 10th grade, they say no. 11th grade, they let you take 1 or 2. And then in 12th grade, they take 1 or 2 as well too. How is this fair to compete against this group right over here? All right, so 2 answers for you. Answer number 1, that's not how admission works. So a school that allows you to take like this schedule, for example, will not be compared against a school that has this amount of opportunities, right? That's the big thing to keep in mind. You're going to be compared against the same high school and the same region or the same state as the other students in your kind of class is the big one. However, they're not going to be compared against 2 separate different opportunities, 2 separate different groups of people, okay? That being said, however, right? If we know we're going to be compared against our school, then if we just do this, we're the same as our school. So how do we stand out? That's the magical question, right? How do we stand out, right? So when it comes to standing out in the academics, all you got to do is do more, right? That's it. You just got to do more than the average student at your school. So one of the ways to do more is, let's say this is the schedule, right? So let's say example number 2, right? And call it example number 1, right? So let's say example number two has this. So what you should be doing, right? Instead of taking 0, how about you take 1 your 9th grade year? Instead of taking 0, let's do 1 as well too. Here, let's do 1. Let's do 1. If you are doing just adding 1 extra class, right? Then you have one here. You have one here. You have between 2 to 3 here. You have between 2 and 3 here. So starting from between 2 and 4, so we go from 2 to 4 all the way to, was it 6 to 8? 6 to 8, 6 to 8 as well, just by adding one additional AP level course per year. So think about it. If you are an admissions person, would you want to take the student that only has 2 to 4, or would you want to have students who are 6 to 8, right? Think about that. So now digging deeper, how do we do this, right? How do we take additional courses? So one of the things, there are outside high schools, right? High schools that offer online AP courses for you to take. A few of them that we know that we usually have our students attend and take, right? One is BYU. There's like an online high school there. The other one is UC Scouts. A lot of our families are from the California region. So UC Scout works really well. Again, you don't have to go to a UC to take it. It's just offered. The school is called UC Scout, but it's good for any AP class. So there's some other ones. There's Silicon Valley High School is one. There's Stanford Online High School. It's another one as well too. So there's a bunch of these schools out there, and you can keep searching for them. There's a bunch of these online high schools that give you AP credit, right? The key here, right? So the key here is when you take an AP class, right? An AP class, there's kind of two parts, right? The first part is the class itself. There's the class that you take. The second part is the test, right? You guys have probably heard of the AP test, AP exams. If you're taking like AP US history, you're gonna take the AP US history test. So the question that usually comes up is like, Coach Tony, what if I just take the AP exam only, right? And be done with it, right? And let's say, and what if what if I got a 5, right? Which is a perfect score, right? Perfect score on the exam, right? So what can you just take the test itself and get the credit? So in theory, you could do whatever you want. But for the purpose of this, the 5 score does not demonstrate rigor, right? This only demonstrates your ability to take a test. That's it. This does not show how good you are. Because again, you guys are probably know people who, again, don't study, don't do much. However, right, they are really good test takers. They have great memories of things, right? So people can be good at certain things, but not the other things that college is looking for. The idea of the test is how good of a test taker you are. In addition, the test will earn you college credit. And that's it, right? That's the purpose of the test itself. You can pass the class, not pass the test. That means you got the credit for the class. You just didn't get the college units transferred out when you go on to the college after that too, okay? So starting back with the college classes, right? Starting with the classes here, right? The classes will demonstrate the rigor, right? Because you have to put time in to the class. You could, in theory, just cram for the exam the night before and got a good score, right? But for the class, you have to demonstrate that rigor over time. And that's the big difference between the class and the test itself. So when you're deciding, hey, should I take the test? You can, right? If your only goal is, can I get the college units, college credit? However, if you're trying to demonstrate, right? Demonstrate that you are competitive for a certain college or university, you want to take the class to show the rigor. Again, that is the most important part that colleges are looking for. Sure, they look at grades, sure, they look at GPA, but the most important thing is the rigor. Because again, think about it. Here's another example number 3 for you guys, right? Let's say student has a 4.0 GPA. Is this a good student or a not so good student? That's it. That's all I tell you. This student has a 4.0 GPA. Is this student good or is this student not so good? Right? I got people sharing both answers, good and not good as well too, right? So here's some more context for you, right? So more context. This student took 0 APs, right? They took only regular. This student took regular classes all 4 years. Boom. Right? Now, is this student good or not good? Right? Now, 4.0, this one has 0 APs, regular classes all 4 years. Good? Not good. Again, the chats look up. Oh, they say it's not good. Let me give you some more context. More context. This school does not offer any APs as well, too, right? This student took all the honors available to them. All right, now, what about this? Is this good or not good? Is the next question. All right, now people are flipping again that they say it's good as well, too, right? So now let me take more context, more context. At this school, right, there are students who enrolled in outside high school classes and took an average of 5 AP courses on top of the high school coursework. Now, given all this now, is this good or is it not good? You see how each part adds more additional context than the other. That's why a GPA means nothing, right? Means absolutely nothing to me because I need to know all the different factors available, right? So the most important thing is I always look for rigor. How much rigor does a student have? So when it comes to now, let's look at tactile. What classes should we take, right? So again, now that we have established, let's take an online high school to supplement, right? Treat this as a supplement to your existing schedule, right? People always think like, oh, let me replace it. You could if your high school lets you. I bet you your high school won't let you is the thing, right? So you're supplementing your schedule. You're adding on with the additional AP course, right? Which ones should we take? Which ones should we look into? Right? So one of the easy ones, right? So typically go hit up all of your additional requirements, right? Because some schools, right, the required ones, right? Which ones does your school require you to do? Which ones can you take? The reason you need to ask your counselor, though, ask your counselor, is sometimes they won't let you have credit, right? Let's say you're taking AP World, but it's too easy, and you decide to take online UC Scout AP US History because you know you got to take it next year anyways, right? Ask your counselor because if your counselor says no, we will not. Because again, now you can take it; it'll get you the college credit for it. However, it may not get you the high school credit. Your high school, and it's something we've noticed recently. Some schools might say, "Oh, our school offers it because of our school offers this. Because of that, we're not going to grant you credit. You have to take it again at our school. So making sure it's required. Look into classes that then that are not offered at your high school, right? Some schools doesn't have AP Psych. If your school doesn't have AP Psych, good odds you can probably take, especially if you're interested in Psych, you can take that. There's some schools for those of you who are engineering students, right? Engineering students, little tip for you guys, right? A lot of high schools don't offer a lot of AP Physics. However, that is one of the big overlays in the engineering space, meaning that's one of the classes that readers are trained to look for in your application. So if you're able to supplement your schedule and say, hey, in addition, I also took more physics classes to demonstrate my interest in engineering, my competency in engineering, that's always going to be a great sign there. Same thing with like AP computer science, right? A lot of schools don't offer a lot of these classes. They have like the basic CSP, right? The basic level class, but they don't offer like CSA because not a lot of students are doing it. You can take the CSA at these other outside colleges here. A lot of the sciences, right? If you're interested in the STEM fields, not every school will offer this at the high school. So you can use this as an opportunity to take it at the additional online school that you're doing too. And the perk about these online schools is that they're usually self-paced, right? They're usually self-paced. You're on your own schedule. You're on your own time. Keeping in mind, though, FYI, some schools like BYU has proctored exams, right? Which means that when you take your exams, your midterms, your finals, you actually do have to physically go to a location. So they have a proctor grade your test, UC Scout doesn't do that, for example, but everyone has their own practices. So again, so the advice here is look into how each class is set up. The other thing to keep in mind also, now it's not a perk, but this is just keep in mind, right? These do cost money, right? Cost money. So these aren't a free option. So keeping that in mind, if you guys are interested in outside high school, your school may cover it if you ask nicely, but statistically they won't. I haven't met a student, by the way, yet that had their school pay for it. So it usually costs, I would say, between 400, 800 plus per class, right? Is the biggest thing that I've seen. This is not including the AP exam, plus the AP exam fees that you'll be ending up doing to take the AP exam itself too. Okay. So keeping that in mind, that is part of the offering when it comes to the additional courses, which again, this is a great opportunity to add additional things. You can definitely, you can add this during the school year, right? During the school year, or you can even do this during the summer. So really a lot of perks. You can do it, take the semesters, take the classes, you should be good to go, right? So that's one, you can fill it in around your schedule. The second thing that you can do, right? Again, what additional courses can you put on your academics? Another thing you can do, this is thinking a little bit outside the box, right? You want to demonstrate, so I'll use, you want to demonstrate, it's called the love of learning, right? This is one of those key kind of phrases that a lot of people in admissions talks about a lot, is the idea that you are passionate and you are interested in a certain field and you take the extra steps to learn more, to do more in this space. So it's called the love of learning, right? So if, let's say you're interested, example, if you're interested in computer science, right? Right? Do you have to take a computer science class at your school? Do you have to take an AP computer science class? No, right? Is that the only options? No. There's tons of online resources, tons of resources. There are tons of resources online, right? Or in person or other areas. You can do this for the in the lens of the love of learning for you guys, right? So again, a few areas that we recommend, and the best perk, these are free, right? Number one, YouTube. People underestimate. There are now like 4 hour long, 12-hour long, especially in computer science, right? If you guys look up, there's like how to code, there's like 12-hour courses on literally beginning to end of how to code, how to program, how to anything you want on YouTube itself. There's also certification sites such as Coursera, there's EDX, there's like MIT Open Courseware, right? Courseware, as the tons of these extra classes, these online schools that are typically sponsored by the local universities, right? Not local, the national ones, the big ones as well too. So when it comes to these things, you'll see that you get to learn about a certain class, certain topic. Let's actually look it up real fast. I'll show you. If you guys look at Coursera, right? And you scroll down, you see there's tons and tons of classes. If you want to learn about Adobe, boom, right up here. Learn about financial markets. Those of you interested in like economics, the stocks, boom, financial markets. If you want to learn about see what else, data science, boom, data science right here. There's tons. Look at it, there's thousands. You add these guys up, there's thousands of courses here. Another big popular one is EDX, right? EDX right here, edx.org. Same thing when you look, there's tons of classes, right? As well too, machine learning, computers, writing stats, right? Tons and tons of classes here that you guys can learn and do stuff. One tip that you have, these will have a price tag to them, right? So these sites may charge you for the certificate, right? Pro tip, right? Do not buy the certificate, right? They're gonna try and make you feel good, like, hey, purchase is $300, you'll get certification about this class. These certificates mean nothing. These certificates, right, have zero value to them. It means nothing, right? So if you do it, you're just giving them some tip money for helping them this and that. That's how they make their money. So instead, what you want to use, and this is a pro tip now, you want to use these types of sites, these types of options to explore, right? Use these sites, right, to explore an area that you're not you, the student, right? That the student is already interested in, or think they might be interested in, right? Then this might be an opportunity. This may lead, right, to an opportunity to take like the AP class at their school. It may lead them to do an activity, right, at their school as well too, or as other areas. This you can share on your college applications, right? So there'll be an area you can say, hey, I took these courses, I learned these things. However, and the key, again, the strategy here is don't just take the class. That's the big key. Don't just take the class. Focus on using the class as a starting point, and do something with it. That's like the biggest mistake I see a lot of students make is they like, oh, let me go ahead and just take the class. All right, I'm done. Moving on next one, right? Knowledge means nothing. Knowledge is nothing as well, too. You have to do something with it, right? You can know everything in the world, right? A lot of families who've been watching me on these live trains, live calls, have been following me for literally years. And then I was like, wait, why aren't some of you guys being successful? Because everything I've told you, we do with our coaching families, right? Everything I teach, we implement. That's the key, the implementation part. Let's write it. Implementation. That is the magic of all this. You can know everything in the world, but if you don't apply it to what you're doing, that is the number one mistake. As well too, right? So again, implement what you're doing. If you're taking a class on, again, going back to our analogy, right? Let's say, hey, I'm interested. My mouse. There you go. My mouse right here. Let's say I take here. I'm interested in, oh, what's machine learning? I think, oh, these classes are actually pretty cool, right? I'm gonna take an MIT machine learning class, right? I go here and I take it. This class is available. You can take it. It is free to take, right? And I can go at, again, this one is instructor paced, meaning they have their own schedule. The class will start in January, right? So if you guys want to go ahead and start this class now, boom, you can go ahead and take this class, start it as well too, and then the instructor will follow their own schedule as they go through this here. So what you can do is you can go ahead and take this class, go along. Again, it's going to have you upgrade for a certificate. Do not recommend taking the certificate, getting a certificate. It means nothing. You just give them free money. Unless you want to give them free money as a thank you, go for it. But once you take this class, what I expect is don't just like, all right, I'm done. It is, what can I do now with the knowledge that I just gained, right? After I took class, what can I do with this? And that is the key of these additional courses, these online courses there, okay? And last tip for you guys, which is I saved the best for last. Saving the best for last is one of the big things that we have our students focus on when it comes to the process is a concept of dual enrollment, right? So dual enrollment is one of our big things that we love to talk about. Dual enrollment. So what is dual enrollment? Dual enrollment is as a high school student, you're actually you're actually enrolling at two more schools, right? That's by definition. So if you're in theory, right, if you took a BYU class in your high school, you are dual enrolled is kind of what it means, right? But typically when we talk about dual enrollment, it means you're taking college courses, right? At the same time you're in high school. That's the concept of dual enrollment. So what is it and why do we care to do it, right? So when it comes to earlier, I mentioned, right, colleges are looking for AP level rigor. Where did I write that? Where did I write that? Right? We're looking for AP. Didn't write about that. That's right again, right? Colleges are looking for AP to show rigor. You wanna have AP level rigor. So what's AP level rigor? AP level rigor is taking an AP class. You take an AP class is an AP level rigor. You can go take an IB class, International Baccalaureate. For those who don't know, an IB class is a 2-year long class. It's not every school will offer it, but if your school offers it, you could consider taking it and actually go for the IB diploma while you're at it as well too. And then once you're doing that, you take the IB exam, very similar to AP, but it's out of 7 points instead of 5, right? That's the other level. The last area is you can take a dual enrollment course. So what's the difference? What's the thing, right? So again, AP, Class, exam. The class shows the rigor. The exam gets you the college credits, right? Let's think about dual enrollment. Dual enrollment has a class. That's it, right? So once you take the class, you show the rigor. How do you show rigor? Because, right, one college unit, right? So you'll see that in college classes, they have units after them. One college unit is equivalent to 3.3 high school credits. When you guys look at your transcript, you'll see that each class has a certain number of credits on them. Typically, it's like 5 credits per semester. So every semester you see, there's going to be like 5 credits to them, right? So that's why a year-long class is 10 credits. However, you'll notice also that a lot of high school courses, a lot of college courses is 3 college units. That's like the average, right? So how much is 3? Look at that. 10 high school credits. What is 10 high school credits? That is 1 year of high school. So by you taking a 3-unit college course, that is equivalent to 10 credits or 1 year of high school. Boom. That's what this class is. It's 1 year of high school that you just earned in that class. However, here's the however part, right? Dual enrollment classes, college courses, is not a full year. This 3-unit class is usually typically only 1 semester or half a year. So this is in the fall, the spring, or the summer. And that's it. And you get the same amount of credit as an entire year taking the class. And again, there's also the class as well, too, right? This is what? This is a college class, which gets you college credits. So the second perk of this is you don't have to pass the AP exam, right? Because then there is no need for an AP exam. You just got to pass the class with as long as you pass the class with an A, B, or C. Again, aim for the A, of course, but A, B, or C earns you the college credit. That being said, keep in mind, FOI, not every class will get you college credit, So you have to be strategic, right? Strategic with this. So let's talk about it. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and use a case study from California. So if you guys are in California, this applies to you. If you're not in California, everything I say still matters. Just the wording will be a little different in your state. What do I mean by that? So in California, there is an articulation that you're looking for, transfer articulation. If you guys want to go ahead and look it up on California transfer articulation, or New York transfer articulation, or Texas transfer articulation, once you do that, you'll see there's a list of classes that you can take that is transferable. This is a list of classes you can take that is transferable. And that is the key for us, the idea that it is transferable. Oh, there's only one R in transferable, right? In California, for those who are here in California, it's called the IGETC list, right? The IGETC stands for the Inter-Segmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. I just love saying that word. That's why I was like to spread out, right? The IGETC requirements. Okay. Again, if you look up your own state, it's a little different. I know, like, one of our students in Illinois, they call it IAS. OOTE. Oregon, I think it's OOTE. So every state has a little different acronyms of what they call it. But essentially, what it is, it's a list of classes that if you take it, you'll be transferable. So if you take these classes, a list of classes transferable to all your state schools, right? Plus a lot of private colleges is a thing, right? Also a lot of other and out of state colleges, right? Depending what state you're in as well, too, right? But this is pretty much a very good universal list to look up to make sure, hey, is the class gonna be good or not? So if you are gonna do dual enrollment, and in a bit, I'm gonna teach you guys how to select the exact classes, because if you're watching this live, it is the end of October. A lot of dual enrollment spring classes are about to get released, or for some of our students today I was working with, it's already is released. So we started working with them already. But for a lot of you guys out there, your spring semester is coming out really, really soon. I highly recommend you guys take advantage of this opportunity. There is a small window, so it is a time sensitive training. Okay. So when it comes to here, the big thing is look up the IGETC list. So step one, look up the IGETC list. By the way, for those of you who are live, I'm going to use a real case study. So if one of you guys are in California, what is a local community college next to you? Just drop it in the chat. In a little bit, I'll use it as a real case example for us to show the steps, right? But again, any other state can do this too. It's not just a California thing. Just, again, figure it out what it is of your state. So we look up the IGETC list. Number two, I recommend for all majors, right? Regardless of your major, people are like, but I'm not this, but I'm not that. I'm like, regardless of your major, right? Focus on arts, humanities, and social behavioral science classes. The reason why these classes are typically the easiest classes you can take. When you are starting dual enrollment for the very first time, I would love to get as many A's as we can, is number one. Number two, it is still a college class. It's easy, but it's not that easy. And I got to tease a little bit of the future, right? It's gonna be a little more doable for the student, but it's still not gonna be a cake in the walk in the park, is what they say, right? It's still a college class taught by a college professor with college students taking this class. So it's gonna be a little easier, but it's not gonna be as easy as like doing nothing, right? So we want to make sure, hey, how can I maximize our opportunities here? So this is why we take the arts, humanities, social behavioral sciences. Then you want to look up the classes that you want to take, right? Number four, find class locations that work best for you. Number five, look up the professor that works best for you. And then number six, get your counselor to sign off on the class. So because you guys are in high school, you do need the high school counselor or the principal. So I'll do principal too, or principal, right? Principal to sign off on it as well, right? So this is gonna be the list. Again, if you're from any other state, replace IGETC with whatever your state's list is called. Okay. So that being said, let's do a live example. So in the chat, if you guys want to drop a college, if you're in California, and if you're not in California, I'll pick. If no one here is in California, I'll go ahead and pick one as well too. Okay. All right, I see Dianza, right? Dianza is one. So the example for today is Dianza. You guys can pick whatever other community college you guys want to do and follow along, right? So first thing I'm gonna do is Dianza Community College. So I'm gonna look up on Google Dianza IGETC, right? So step one, right? Dianza IGETC, and then see what we get, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and search it on Google, and then let me take out the quotes. Dianza College IGETC, right? So the first page right here is a list. Boom, this is what I'm looking for, right? Every school is a little different, but every school will kind of look like this. Again, this is in California. There's 7 areas. In your states, there might be different things there, okay? So this is what it is for DNs. So I get the sheet here, right? Number two, I'm gonna look for the arts, humanities, and social behavioral sciences, little cheat code for California families. IGETC, we're looking at area 3 and area 4. Area 3 and area 4, right? So area 3 and 4. So that's the next area you want to look at. Typically, a lot of our students, right? So in California, IGETC, area 3 and 4, right? Typically for our students, no, not students. Actually, yeah, it is our students. Our students, in terms of area 3, our students like to take classes from arts, music, or theater. In area 4, our students like to take classes from anthropology, psychology, and sociology, right? Can you take anything else? You can. This does not matter to me. As long as in the area, you are good to go. So I'm going to go to the list right here. You can see there's arts, art 1, 1B, 1A, blah, blah, blah. Asian American studies. I don't know what C ethnic is. All right. And you can see there's dance classes and all this. Keep in mind, these aren't actual like arts classes, meaning you're not going to draw in this class, you're not going to play music in this class, you're not going to You might watch movies in this class, but you're not going to be acting as well too, right? These are all theory classes. That's something to keep in mind. They're all theory based classes. And then when it comes to area 4, a lot of our kids like anthropology, sociology. Where's sociology? Sociology and psychology. But there's other classes too. There's kinesiology for those who like that, journalism, what's there? Humanities, general humanities. There's a history for those who like history, geography. So tons of really awesome classes in here that you can kind of pick and choose whatever it is that you want to do. Next thing I'm gonna do is I looked at that. Next area, I'm gonna look at the classes you want to take. So you're gonna look up the school. So De Anza class schedule, right? So you look at the school. So for me, I looked at De Anza college class schedule. Maybe I have to go to college. Maybe that might help some of you guys with other schools, right? And then you'll see that here's a schedule of classes, right? And it looks like spring isn't out yet, right? Spring isn't out yet. However, when does spring come out? Let's see. Spring will come out on oh, it looks like I'm sorry. So De Anza's a unique school. So De Anza doesn't do semesters; they do quarters, right? So there's a fall quarter, winter quarter, spring quarter. So you have 3 opportunities to take classes at De Anza. So right now we're looking at winter quarter. Actually, spring classes are already open. Or actually, no, view classes, October 21st, right? So in a week from now, you guys may say this is very time sensitive. In a week from now, the classes will open. In November, registration will open. So again, if you haven't registered yet, that's something to do now before you can get the highest group. Again, the earlier your group, right, the better chances you are getting the class because classes get full and you can't sign up anymore. So what I would do is let's assume I'm looking at a a winter class, right? For this school is a winter class. Actually, I lied because there's no winter yet. It's out in a week. So let's assume a fall class right now, right? Then I'm gonna look for, let's say I want to do a sociology, right? For those who know, if I went to college, I'd be a sociology major, right? Sociology. And then when I look at here, try to pick the lower number. So there's sociology 1. So I'm gonna look for sociology 1 first. So here, sociology 1 is like all these classes that fall under sociology 1. Okay. Now, next piece, right? Section number 4, it says pick the locations that works best for you. Location is what format. For a lot of these classes, you'll see that you can't actually go to the school itself. You can't you can, but the thing is it's during school hours. So let's check real fast. So during this, right, for example, where's my mouse? There you go. Right. So right here, this class, this first one right here is Monday, Wednesdays, 9:30 to 10:20 a.m. I'm pretty sure high school students, you are in high school during that time, so you can't do that. This other one in person, 12:30 to 2 p.m. You're probably in school for Mondays. You can't do that one either. Tuesday, Thursday, 11, 12. You probably can't do that one also because you're in school. You see it that way, we limit. However, online. Ever since 2020, a lot of these classes are offered in an online format, right? So, right, typically, a lot of our students take online courses, right? The beauty of this is what students, right? The beauty of this is a lot typically also, right? These are asynchronous classes, which means it's self-paced, right? So you're taking these classes at your own schedule. That's gonna be the big difference. Okay. Then after that, so then we have these teachers, right? We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 options for us are the ones that we have to choose between, right? Then step number 5, we see that look at the professor. Ooh, this is one of the magical things about dual enrollment. In high school, UC Scout, BYU, all this, you have no choice about the teacher. The teacher is a teacher, and that's it. In college, however, you have the ability to choose a professor. And you can see on here, there's 4 teachers to choose from, right? Kamau, Mark, Tracy, and Jason. There's 4 teachers you're able to take for these classes. Let's take a peek. So what you want to do, there's a site called ratemyprofessors.com, right? You go to ratemyprofessors.com, you're going to enter the school's name. I've been helping students, so you have different schools here, but if you guys change it, so this is what? De Anza, right? College. And you type the professor's name right over here. So this one is Kamal, right? So I'm going to look at Kamal. And there we go. So once you look it up, you can see that this teacher, yeah, they're all right, right? So the most fives, but they have a lot of other grades too, right? Difficulty out of 5 is a 3.3, which is more on the harder end. 30% will take again. So not a lot of people will actually want to take them again. On 3, some notes, tough grader as well. You kind of read the reviews, right? Keeping in mind, grain of salt, because people who have bad grades, they tend to put negative things also. However, right, you can kind of see, oh, blah, blah, blah here. Let's try a different teacher. Let's try Mark, right? So if you look at Mark right over here, we can see that Mark has a lot of 5-star reviews. Difficulty 1.5. A lot of people will take it again, right? And you can read through each of these things to see like, so far Mark doesn't look so bad, right? Then I go to the next one. There's Tracy, right? Tracy DeHaan. Tracy DeHaan here. A mix, a nice mix, a little harder sounds like it. So far, Mark has been my favorite so far. And then and this is Jason DeHaan. Looks like they're spouses, maybe, or they have the share the same name. Same thing. They're pretty tough as well, too. So then so far, I am picking Mark as the class. There's 2 classes to pick from. Then there's 2 class codes you can give to your counselor and say, hey, can I take one this class or one the other class? That is the exact step by step of this situation here. Okay. So number 6, last one is get your counselor to sign off on it. Again, you want to give them the class code, right? Get them the class code for them to sign off on this. Here's the little perk. I talk about perks. Perks of this one right here is typically with dual enrollment, most of the time, your high school will pay for your college class for you, right? Meaning it's free. The other options are paid. This one is free. So compared to the other ones, right? If you have to pay, it's typically $50 per unit. With a class being 3 units, that's $150 to 4 units, 3 to 4 units. That's $200. That is way cheaper than online AP class itself. And you don't have to actually take the test to get the college credit. If I'm taking a class on IGETC, once I pass my Sociology 1, I'm automatically going to get the credit at the university transferred right away. That is one of the big perks, and that's something I would highly recommend you guys do, right? Because again, you'll see like the answer opens in a week. Some of the schools in the Bay Area open right now. A lot of other states have already opened right now. So I will definitely take a look at this and see which ones can you add. I will start with 1, then we start expanding to more and doing more things as well. And if you guys are still a little bit unsure of which ones should you do, which ones can you do, one thing that we're doing special on this call, if you're here live, is that we are offering free coaching calls. So for our coaching families, you guys already get this on our Discord. You get help on office hours. You guys get help in your calls. But if you're not yet in our coaching program, you guys are interested in getting a free 15-minute call. It's not a sales call. You can't even buy anything on this call. But if you guys are interested, I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. Go ahead and book a free 15-minute chat. Talk to our advisors and kind of share them. Hey, here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm working on. And they're going to go ahead and give you some feedback on here's the next 2-3 steps. And that's it for that call. We're not going to sell you anything, or pitch you anything on that session there, just to kind of give you guys a little guide on what the next steps should be and should look like. Okay. That being said, I know we have a few questions in the Q&As. Go ahead and drop by that really quick. I saw a few questions in the chat about, hey, can you get my notes? You guys can see my screen. You guys can probably take your own notes as number 1. But number 2, I'm giving the notes away for those who are here the first 5 minutes. For everyone else, we'll have the replay available in 2-3 days with the notes as well, too. So if you guys want to wait a few more days, the notes will be available on the replay. So we'll go ahead and request the replay, and we'll grab you that there. Okay. So first question I see is, how do we know how many APs are an average taking out of school as well, too? So the outside you don't know, right? The outside you don't know. But right? The in school, right? Students talk, right? Students talk. So usually you can probably know someone who's doing something. Our schools, again, friends talk to friends, talk to friends. So they usually find out. I usually know really fast from our students who are like, hey, I know these students are taking this many. I'm like, cool, that's gonna be our benchmark. Again, we still want to overdo it a little bit just to be safe, but usually students know each other's schedules. Okay. And then last question I see here is, would it make sense to take dual enrollment because they're cheaper? Yes. That is kind of my answer. I'm a huge proponent of dual enrollment. I think everyone should integrate it in their schedule. It's a pretty cool hack once you understand. And here's for those of you who are like, Coach Tony, because we had a fan was like, Coach Tony, college so expensive, blah, 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 blah. Can I save you guys $30,000 real quick? Quick. Let me save you $30,000. Here's how I'm going to save you $30,000 right now, right? One unit, right? I'll say one class, right? It's typically 3 units, 3 to 4 units, right? 1 year is 30 units as well of classes. So that's what 10 classes. That's 7 to 8, 7 to 10 classes you'll take. If you take one class per semester starting ninth grade year, or if you're a little later, you start stacking them 2 classes by year. By the time you finish high school, and then you have at least 30 units, when your units will transfer to the college. So by the time you graduate, right? By the time you graduate from high school, right? Sorry, by the time you get into the college, your 1 year will kick in. You can graduate in 3 years instead of waiting all 4 years. You're welcome. Depending what school you went to, if you went to the Ivies, I just saved you $60,000, $80,000 right there. If you guys want to give us a little tip, feel free to. But that's gonna be the feedback there. I do have to bounce off right now. I see a few more questions. I'll probably answer them in the chat if you guys want to do that. But before I head out, last call. If we're doing it this week, if you guys are interested in booking a 15-minute chat, again, if you're a coaching family, it's not for you. Go ahead and again ask your questions in our private community. We can help you in there. But these are for our new friends, right? Our new friends who are joining us. If you're interested in getting this is a little coaching call from our team, go ahead and book that and you'll be able to talk to our team. Our team can give you some guidance, some 2-3 steps. Again, they're not going to sell you anything, and if they do, you let me know. I'll give you money if they charge you on that call, right? So again, they're not going to sell you anything at all. This is going to help you on this session here. Okay. One more time, go ahead and drop it there. The questions I'll just drop it in the chat. I'll answer them in the replay. So if you guys want to go ahead and request the replay from our team, we'll post it out. You guys can go ahead and request it. I'll share the notes with the answers to this on the replay itself. Okay. It's a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, one more time, if you guys want to book a call, tap it now because once I close it, it's gone. Once I close it, it is gone. So go ahead and tap that. I'll give you guys 10-second countdown, right? And once 10 seconds are up, we are closing the room and we are good to go, right? So we're down to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, everybody. We will tune in later.